There's a couple things that are irrefutable. When people try to refute it, they insult themselves. It's like saying something's better than wisdom. Well, there's nothing better than wisdom. And I say self-reliance is incredibly important. How can anybody scoff at self-reliance? I've actually had it happen before. When you rely upon other people, and it's good to rely on other people for things, and people stick together, and they have groups and they support each other. That's all well and fine, but dependence has an enormous amount of downsides. I'm huge in self-reliance. I just made these, by the way. I was going to show you these. This is not a video about leather pants that I just made. But I'm a firm believer in self-reliance. I wanted to talk about beef and food and prices increasing. I'm doing this with a real estate agent of mine. Is that he knows some farmers, and since I have a farm, I don't have time to take care of cows, and I would need to build a fence, and it's a big hassle. So there's a lot of expense there. That's the long way around, to getting beef. And I'm not really a big meat eater, but I mean, beef has gone up like 20%. I was looking at a steak at Costco or other. It's like, that's ridiculous. I'm not paying that kind of money. Absolutely no way in heck am I going to do that. Anyway, me and another guy, and I've known about this for years, but now that the prices are ridiculous, cows are not that much. You can go in with like 2 other people or just 1 other person, especially if and I believe everybody should have one. I have 2 of these in the house, and I have one in Florida. It's those chest freezers. You open up the lid like this, and you put in a bunch of beef. You can go in and buy a cow, and actually to have it butchered does not cost that much. There are people that will butcher a whole cow for like $150, $200. Wham. Split it up between people. I don't know if you know how cheap meat is that way, but it is a lot cheaper. So you could buy a cow and split it with a buddy. And a big old cow split even 3 ways is an enormous amount of meat. An enormous amount. I made these not too long ago on my sewing machine. These are pants. They're extremely comfortable. I've made several pair of leather pants, but I'm a huge believer in the self-reliance. I got like a 38-inch waist, and of course I made the belt that's on these pants too, but they're so comfy, and in the wintertime, they are just the cat's arse. They really, really are. But I can make my own clothing. I made my own shirts. I've made everything. I've even made my own sandals before. However, it takes a long time to make sandals. But I actually love making my own. Those are really, really great in the wintertime. It's said, now meat is up like 20+% already. God knows how much it's going to shoot up. We all know about gas prices. Think about a supplemental heating potential, because it's said that people's, depends on the type of heat that you use. I think propane is going to go up 60+%. It's probably going to go higher than that, actually. They're already estimating at least 60% on propane in much of the United States. I forget, like 30% plus on natural gas. Even though I could live down there at my cabin, and it has a beautiful wood-burning stove, and you cook your food on the wood-burning stove. I have an absolutely unlimited, as in multiple lifetimes worth of trees on my farm. I don't know the easy way to say this. I mean, obviously most people don't have, and I only paid 22. I sold half of what I own. I sold half of what I own to buy my cabin/farm. But I mean, it didn't cost me. It cost me far less than a new vehicle did. Think about the supplemental heating potential. There are ways to retrofit a house such that it could have 2 heating sources if you have, and of course you have to check into code, depends on where you live at, obviously, that you could get yourself. Not only is it so much fun to cook food on, which I remember old days on my grandpa's farm, the fireplace, but even he didn't have a wood-burning stove there. I mean, I just love my wood-burning stove up in my cabin. Maybe you could look into supplemental heating potential for your home, depending on where you live at. It doesn't not take, like a serious redesign of a house to have a supplemental heating option. I mean, if propane natural gas can go up that high, I mean, you could heat your house with a wood-burning stove, and you also too cook on it, and it's just so much fun and so cozy. Nothing really beats it. You know, I've sat around the fire, campfire. You know, I was in the Boy Scouts, and I know you know what it's like to sit around a fire, but man, when it comes to a wood-burning stove in the home, it's just so very nice. Next year, I'm going to start working with a farmer buddy that lives next to me and renting out part of my property and start making my farm work for me. Start planning on it, planting, working with him to work the land at least to a small degree so I could have food income, and also to income from him growing his own veggies, which he sells, and he'll pay me for that. I may sell one of my barns, the barn wood off of it, but I don't know about that. Like the dilapidated barn, that's never going to be of any use to anybody, not the good barn. Self-reliance is so important. I mean, if ever there was, I mean, like back in the 20s, right? Of course, I didn't live in the 20s, obviously. Neither did you, you know, the Dust Bowl era and all that other stuff. But people, they fixed their own stuff. They made their own stuff. You know, they didn't rely on really anybody other than their fellow family members. You know, like, I'll do this today, you do that, you know, that sort of stuff. I'm only one person, but you know, even though I'm a fat, bald city slicker, I guess you could say, I can make my own clothing. I know how to grow my own food. I have a wood-burning stove. I have really good leatherworking skills. I can make and fix just about anything. And I don't know how to fix cars and stuff like that. I mean, there's an enormous amount of skills out there. Nobody knows everything, obviously. I don't even claim to. I know a lot about field theory metaphysics, but I mean, I'm not just a bookworm nerd. I mean, I got industrial sewing machines and, you know, cabin in the woods, and I know how to hunt. I absolutely know how to hunt, by the way. And I know how to grow fruits and veggies. I know how to do that stuff. Most city slickers, I think if you gave them a pack of seeds, they wouldn't know what to do with it. Also, too, I think it's incredibly important that people learn about microgreens. Also, too, sprouting seeds. The only thing you need is water, and it doesn't even have to be clean water, like filtered drinking water, to grow your own greens. I mean, I have tons and tons of mung bean seeds that are sealed and they're cool, and tons, not literally tons, but I mean, how much alfalfa seeds that I have? I have maybe 100 pounds of alfalfa. I don't know how much. 100 pounds of alfalfa sprout seeds is an enormous amount. I got a lot of mung beans too. You could fry up mung bean sprouts and basically make a veggie burger out of it. I love veggies and fruits, actually. You know, I'm not a meat and potatoes person, you know, like hardcore meat and potatoes. But I think it would be wise if a lot of people actually took that recommendation on self-reliance. You know, every government is evil, and I don't trust the government. Some are more evil than others. But what was it Reagan said? He said, the most evil words ever said are, "Hi, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you." Self-reliance is king. Redundancy is God. Yeah, knowing how to fix things and do things and take care of yourself is insanely important. Take that for whatever you will. I mean, if ever there was a time where people need to really invest in self-reliance and learn how to do stuff, I mean, right now is a little bit late, but it's never too late to learn things, you know. If I ever had a motto in life, that would certainly be it. It's never too late to learn things. I'm always learning. I'm always an information sponge. And yes, you can make fun of my pants, but they are absolutely the cat's butt. And when it is really, really cold outside, I've worn, no joke, I've had like a pair of the most advanced tech gear, like North Face. Super, super expensive, back when North Face really made quality stuff. Insanely expensive, okay? and worn out in the freezing cold, and you don't even hold a match to a great pair of leather pants, man. Smells so good too. They're so luxurious to wear. Love it. Yes, I made these from scratch. I even have my own pattern for my own pants. Each leg is a pattern, you know, sew it right up the middle. Sew down the legs, sew up the butt, and sew up the part of the front. And I invented my own crossover flap system so it doesn't need buttons or zippers. It's an old Indian technique, you know, because they didn't have buttons and zippers back then. They had other things that kind of served as buttons, but simplicity is divinity. That's really my motto. My other motto is compared to what. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Anyway, if you ever like any of these videos that I do, and I make a lot of videos, I got, oh my God, 7,000 plus videos. Any donation is always warmly welcome. The donation link is below. You can tell me how much you hate me. That always works too, and I get emails like that. I hate you! It's like, well, that's okay, don't watch. I am going to be, if you're interested in going, it's the world's largest outdoor flea market. It's called Mount Sterling Court Day. I'm going to go there tomorrow and possibly the day after tomorrow because I've been busting my butt at leatherwork and 10,000 other things, and I got to get up in about 4 or 5 hours. So I'm literally that busy all the time. So think about going there if you're not too far away. It goes all weekend, including Monday, I believe. Thanks. Goodbye.